Assalamu alaikum. My name is Mahmoud Ali and I am your English teacher. Today's our topic is problematizing the unpacking of text, or you can say unpacking a text. So let's start. So today we are going to learn something interesting. We often think of unpacking a text as a neutral act, simply revealing what is inside, right? But as Halliday reminds us, human language itself is never neutral. And he says, language is as it is because of the functions it has evolved to serve in people's lives. So, Halliday shows us that language is shaped by the context and purposes it serves. Meaning, if the medium itself is never neutral, then the act of unpacking, which is a process of reworking language into meaning, can not be neutral either. So, this will guide our today's lecture as we examine how unpacking is always influenced by uh, knowledge, you can say authority, method, pedagogy, and philosophy. So, first of all, our point number one is epistemological angle. So, I will quote Frederick Jameson here, but before we look at Jameson, think about this. Can we ever read a text without prior influence? For example, when you read, let's let's take a news article. Okay, so when you read a news article, are you reading the facts or filtering them through your own experiences and biases? Okay, so let's say what Jameson have to say. He says we never really confront the text immediately in all its freshness, right? As a thing in itself, rather texts come before us as the always already read. So he says that our ways of unpacking are already influenced by prior frameworks, whether it's cultural, ideological, or academic, right? So this means that unpacking is less about revealing hidden truths and more about exposing the knowledge system we bring with us. I have a quick question for you guys. The question is that can you think of a time when your background knowledge shaped how you understood something? Let me know that in the comments. Our second point is language and authority. Who gets to decide what a text means? A teacher, a critic, a reader. Authority is always at play in unpacking. As Michael Foucault says, discourse transmits and produces power. It reinforces it but also undermines and exposes it, renders it fragile, and makes it possible to thwart it. So, there is a big question here that says who has more power to define the meaning? So, we can say unpacking a text is not neutral. It can reinforce ideologies or destabilize them. And interpretation itself is a political act that is tied to authority. Our number third point is methodological critique. So many students think unpacking a text means finding the true meaning, but does it really? The point, as Derrida says, interpretation is not the solution to a puzzle, but posing of another puzzle. So Derrida argues that interpretation never ends puzzle, rather it multiplies them. And methods of unpacking, you can say, create new meanings and new problems. Thus, we must question not just the text, but the act of interpretation itself. And we can say that there's another interesting question. Have you ever felt limited by the method you were told to use to analyze a text? Think about that. Our number four point is pedagogical angle. Think about how schools and universities train students to interpret the text in the right way. Okay, is this neutral? As Foucault says, every educational system is a political means of maintaining or of modifying the appropriation of discourse with the knowledge and the power it carries with. So, like in classroom, unpacking is a pedagogical act by training students to read in particular ways. Education reinforces specific forms of knowledge and excludes others. So, unpacking becomes a form of, you can say, discipline as much as learning. So, fifth and the last point of today's lecture is philosophical perspective. Should unpacking be about, you can say, recovering the author's intent or about something else entirely? Okay, as Ronald Barthes says, the birth of the reader must be at the cost of the author. So, as Barthes proposes that unpacking is not about recovering, you can say, authorial intent, but generating new meanings. So, we can say that unpacking is invention, right? Unpacking is invention, not discovery. So, this radically shifts how we think about reading. So, before concluding the lecture, I have another question for you. That is, if meaning is created by the reader, so does that mean there are no wrong interpretations, right? So, concluding our lectures, first point is unpacking a text is never innocent. Okay, it is shaped by epistemology, authority, methodology, pedagogy, and philosophy. Each act of unpacking produces knowledge rather than simply revealing it, right? The next time you read a text, whether literature, a political slogan, or even a WhatsApp message, don't just ask, what does this mean? Always ask, what does my unpacking do the text? Okay, so this shift turns like interpretation into a critical, creative, and political practice. Thank you very much, class. So, last but not least, I have a mini activity for you. There is a text you have to unpack. The text is knowledge is power. You will unpack this text using the lens below. For example, first one is epistemological lens. You will discuss what kind of knowledge, who decides. Okay. Second one is authority lens. Who gains power when this phrase is used. Okay. Methodological lens. You will discuss how would a historian versus motivational speaker uses this slogan, or you can say this statement. Okay, and the pedagogical lens says, why might a teacher or a school or a university promote this? Okay, and the last one is philosophical lens. So you will discuss 2 points here. Is knowledge really power, or is it how we use? Thank you.